Sandra, do you think we can start, or we should wait a little more?
No, please go ahead. Recording has
Okay.
even started.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on this workshop. My name is Octavio Maya. I'm a Mexican filmmaker based in Mexico City. I have almost 30 years working on films in several stages on production as director, writer, even distributor of some films, some of them documentaries. So it's my great pleasure to share some thoughts as well, my experience on film production. So the first thing that I want to tell you is the importance of preparation. I know Tim Bello and Passan Campbell was teaching you a little bit about script writing. I think it's really important to have polish your scripts, because that will be crucial for the next steps of production. I was looking at some of the scripts that Sandra sent to me, and I found that most of the scripts, they have a kind of problems with the format, and this is very important. Even if it's not this workshop is not about script writing, I think it's important you to know that if you want to apply for a grant for script writing or for any development, the competition outside, it's really amazing, and it's sometimes it's really cruel. So it's very important for you to know the exact format and the exact specifications. What I was finding is the scripts has a lot of description, emotional description, and you have to know that scripts are basically a description of images. It's not poetry, it's just images. And the format, it's really important. I sent already a page, a PDF with some links that will be very helpful for you, or that's my intention, where you can find, for example, the Celtics software. That's a free software that it's a kind of final draft, which is the standard for script writing. If you want to be professional, the best option is a final draft software that will cost some money, but that will be very useful, because at the same time, what I was looking, everybody is like writing on a Word file. That was the same thing that I who I'm start when I was starting writing. And eventually a friend who is a professional script writer told me, why you didn't use final draft? So it changed my life in the way, because it's the way it's construct the final draft. They will guide you to construct easily all your ideas. I think you have plenty of ideas. You have a lot to say, but I think it's very important. Just very first step of having a very solid script, then is when film production starts. With these 5 stages of production, we start with development. The first stage, it's really crucial, because this is where you start to plan. This is where you
Hello,
start to share
Octavia.
your.
Pardon
Sorry.
me. Would you like to share your screen?
You know, no, I have a problem with. I'm transmitting in my phone, because I have a problem with my computer.
Yes, you can still share your screen if okay, except the slide is on your computer, right? So it's different.
Yeah, this is a different. I didn't want to share in the slide, because I want this will be my introduction, and then I want to talk with everyone who is attending,
Okay.
and
Okay.
to know
Okay.
specifically what are their thoughts and what are their questions. So
Okay. Okay. No
so
problem.
this will be different.
Okay.
So the thing is, on development, it's really crucial just to start thinking about the script of who will be on the crew. I mean the DP, the sound, all these guys who are attending with the crew. So the thing is that, for example, you will start thinking about the creation, the writing, the planning, and very important, the budget. And this will follow the second stage, which is the pre-production, which is I think is the most important stage on the full production production stages, because here is where you're gonna plan all the things that you are gonna make on the film. If you don't have a very strong, a very detailed pre-production, the development will take a lot of time. It will take probably years. When you start thinking about films, you need to think that you will spend around 2 years writing the script. Then you will start looking for some financier or for some um, of somebody who can make a bet on your project. And then after getting all these parts that will be really hard, and it will take at least two through from 2 to 3 years, then you will start to work on the film production as the main production. But as well on the development, it's really important when you are planning who is on your main crew, who is not only because you are having a great script, then you will have this challenging stage where you need to make sure that everybody has your idea on mind. And this is crucial when you start to work with this, with your DP, with your production design, wardrobe, makeup, sound. And after having all this and planning all this, you will make sure that your production will not make any longer, because it's really complicated. I will tell you a little bit. I was working in Panama. I have the experience of working on Mexican films, on American films, French films, as well an international film in Panama. I was working in Hands of Stone. It was a film directed by Jonathan Jakubovics. There was Robert De Niro. There was Edgar Ramirez. And I think it was like a really hard experience for the producers, because they spent years working on the development. They, in fact, they start in Dominican Republic, but the main character who was this film was based in a very famous boxer, Panamanian boxer, the Roberto Manos de Piedra Duran. And even if they start working on pre-production, this very famous boxer stopped the production because he said he didn't want to be, his biography will be played in Dominican Republic, but in Panama. So everything what they planned, they stopped. So they start again in Panama. They spent a lot of money. There was a $30 million production. And when they start the first day of production, they have a lot of trouble. Even if they plan, they have this situation where all the people of Panama didn't appear. All the main workers, the drivers, it was a huge problem the first day. So even if you're planning, you have to be ready for unexpected things. And this is the very important fact where development, and especially pre-production, it's really important, because as much as you care about taking all the skills and being confirmed all what you need about the wardrobe, the makeup, all the lighting, as well, all the planning with the DP of what do you want to tell on the screen, what is the main purpose, as well. One of the things that I was reading on your scripts was, I think there is sometimes big ideas where they require a lot of I was reading, there was one story where it happens on Christmas, and I was thinking as well on one of my first shorts. I was making a short in the jungle, and eventually I realized that maybe I should choose something different for a start, because at the beginning you are trying to get all these ideas, all these emotions, and it's really complex. Sometimes maybe it can be a kind of weird, because simple things are the most difficult things to do. And I highly recommend to start something on productions where everything is in control, that not requires too much people, too much money. And this is something that it could be very, very difficult to choose and to realize what is our real potential, because sometimes we want to tell too many things, and we want to spend as much, because we want to show the world what we have in mind and what are our intentions on filmmaking. And what I was looking is like having a simple idea, good actors. That's something that is always on that is important on the first stages on film production, to choose to get around the best professionals and the best attitude on the production. Because, for example, if you choose first ID, who is going to be the person in charge around all this, all the crew, if this man is in not a good mood, there are people that has a lot of the stress, and that has the responsibility to make the film go ahead, that will make a lot of trouble. So I think the attitude, all the preparation, all the skills, sometimes when we start thinking about production, it's really complex about the things that we record, and this planning is very crucial. So that will be, I think, the first stages: the development, the pre-production, the production. While you are on production, it's really important to try to accomplish what you have planned, because it's always a mistake that the director take too long, and this will cost a lot of money. And that's the I think the planning will be key in a film. And when you're already on production, it's really, really complex to change things. And if you don't take care about this, the little details, that will make a mess. So after finishing the production, we get to the stage of post production, that is well planned on the first stages. This will be all the effects, all the things that are related to the sound, to the technical aspects of the film. And finally, the stage of distribution. I think one of the most common issues that filmmakers has on filmmaking is that they don't producers, they don't plan too much about marketing about how much they will cost. And this is a problem because even if you are filming the best story on the planet, at the end you will need money to promote it, to have the right marketing, and this will make your project something that everybody will know, and that will require a lot of money. So this is also, as you can see, all the stages are really. I think there is no one who is more important than other. All the stages are really key on the planning, especially the first steps. And I will make more pointless every one of these stages, but I'm really interested to know what are your expectations about this about film production. What are your questions, your fears? I would like to know about you, and what are you planning right now, so we can start a dialogue between, because every film is so different. And I was talking about a film that was filmed in Panama. It was a Hollywood style, but I can tell you that I've been in really small films, Mexican films, that was produced in the Mexican Institute of Cinematography, and the approach is totally different. And as producers, as directors, we need to be able to change our set mind, um, because of this situation. Because sometimes you don't have all the money, or maybe if you're lucky, you have a lot of money, but you don't visualize, and that's as well a problem. But when you have a lot of money, uh, you don't make to manage all the production as well when you have it very tight. And this is something that I learned from a long time ago. So if you can tell me, what are you working right now, and what are your expectations, and what are um, your challenges that you are facing on your production? Who do you want to start?
Okay, so there is a question here. Your
Uh-huh.
facilitator wants to know what you're planning with your project. Although you're going to pitch fully on Friday, but right now, the stories you already wrote, if you were going to shoot it, what are your plans? This is film production class, so feel free talk about it so you can get guidance from your facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my name is Sarah Tuyakubu. I'm from Ghana, and for the film that I want to make, I think I researched online. I don't know if I'm correct, but it's
Mhm.
more like a feature or so, if that's what it's called. I've actually tried my hands on one before. My own, it has characters, but they don't. They just act it out, and they are not speaking, but I'm giving a narration to the motion pictures. That's how my
Mm-hmm.
film. It was very short to very less than 30 minutes. So my script was kind of in a narrative way that I did, and then I later recorded it, and then it was merged with the video. So it wasn't like, how should I, a dialogue. It wasn't scripted in a dialogue form whereby one person says this, another person says this, and then it follows in making the dialogue. So and with this class that we are having, I'm really struggling to follow, because my own is not in a form of a dialogue, but kind of a narrative. So I do not know how to go about it. I'm getting confused as the class is moving on. And also, another challenge for me is with regards to getting characters. Like over here in my where I am, it's difficult to, I think, get people to act for you. sometimes if you call them, I don't know, it's like there's this fear. What are you going to use my face for? That kind of thing. Sometimes even reaching out to friends, it's quite difficult. So I don't know. In this production stage, what should I do? How should I go about it? And all of that.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
part I think it will be very important if you select. Sometimes one of the most common challenges we, as you said, when we are facing to film a project is as well facing who will be the actors. And sometimes if we have the fortune to have experienced actors, even if you don't have too much experience, that will be more easy because good actors help you to be as well a good director. But if you don't have that chance and you have to, I will recommend you to start working in a casting, even if even if the person in charge of casting, or maybe you don't have money to work with the casting, and you are trying to pick up some actors who somebody recommend you. Or for example, I'm gonna put you an example that I lived recently. I was shooting during the last 2 years a project of a collection of international short films that I titled The Cold 2020. And I was having an idea very specifically about the other viruses, and I was trying to find actors all around the world, but I didn't know if these actors were experienced or not. So I was followed by recommendations. And for example, I was having the experience of choosing. I was recommended with a friend, with a person who was living in Japan. She knows a little bit of Spanish. She was fluent in English, and but she was not an actress, a professional actress. She was, in fact, working in production. She was the assistant of Rodrigo Prieto, a very famous Hollywood DP, Mexican, original from Mexico City. And what I tried to do was to work with some rehearsals. I read the script. I was working with her about what I intend to portray on the story. And this is something that you can do as well. If you have the chance to work with the casting, to ask somebody if they can help you, even if if the person who's not be a professional on casting, maybe somebody who can help you to cast the possible actors that you have on your story, and then you can start. I think the confidence and the way you can start reading and penetrate with your story. I think the most important part is to make feel all these people what do you intend to tell on the story, and this will help you to get the best people on your project. That help you on what I said?
Yes, thank you. I'll try my best.
I'm
Okay, let
sure
me
you.
add one or two things there.
Uh-huh.
Octavia. All right. So Sahara too, you use these terms interchangeably, characters in place of actors.
Okay, okay,
The
yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I've corrected you about that before. Characters are the people you create in your story. They are not living things. They are not living yet, but your actors are the people that you bring in to enact your story. They will be the ones to take the place of your characters. That's when you want to bring it to life. Okay. Then for the trust issue down here in Africa, especially Ghana, the way you described it, that people are, scared about what do you want to use their face for and the rest. Um, to start with, you need to position yourself as an authority. You don't just go, just like what Octavia was saying. Yes, he's talking from the big budget kind of production where you call for casting and the rest. But as a startup, you are just starting up. Try to look within your environment, your immediate environment, your friends, your family. For instance, I talked about networking today on your group. People that are within your immediate environment that believe in what you are doing. Don't start going out to strangers first. Use your friends, use your family. And Octavia said something when he was talking about, your budgeting, when you're creating your script. He talked about a lot of scripts that you all wrote, that it's so flamboyant, it's so big. If you are starting, start with small stories, 1, 2, 3 characters max. You understand? Things that you can control. So don't go creating a village when you don't have the means to pay so many actors. Do you
Okay.
understand? So create
Yeah.
people, create characters that are unique, that you can get immediately amongst your friends, amongst your family. So you just tell them, hey, I have this project, come support me. I just want you to do this, do this. And then you position your camera and you can take those shots. That's what you need for now. So the moment you're able to do one or two, you would have a portfolio, you will have something to show other people, strangers, that okay, I am a filmmaker, I have done this before, so I need you to come on a new project with me. But if you have not done anything, people will be skeptical of you. That's what I just wanted to add. Octavia, hope I'm good.
No, that's amazing. I think that's the point of. I was as well. I was telling you about this project that is called The Last Breath. I was coming. I started on production. Then eventually, I was working as a film critic. I had radio and television show that I was starring. And eventually, when I decided to work as a director, because I already was working on different productions, I was very afraid about my opening as a director, because I was coming from the film critic, and I knew I was going to be um, severe criticized on my work. So I was very worried about putting many production, a lot of very stylish production, and it was a challenging experience. I was like, I thought that I was this the story was about a man who has a trouble. He's becoming a dad, and he's like conflict because he has something happened on his past, that when he's announced to be a dad, he's like trouble, and he decided to go to the jungle. So at the beginning, I thought, oh, it's a kind of easy. It's just one character will be in the jungle, handheld. There is no big deal. If I will not need any rig. And I was thinking about something really a kind of easy to work, and eventually it became more complex. It was really hard to get into the jungle, to take a lot of people. And one of the most amazing experience that I had was when I was, for example, I was getting in touch with I noticed the Nespresso Talents contest, that I was the opportunity to work short films of 3 minutes with your phone. And eventually I was experienced a really hard situation um, with my son. I was in the family court of Mexico City, and I realized I want to I was finding in a story who tells this story of a woman who is like looking things in two sides, the white or the black situation. And I was finding a way where I was using my phone, and I was really surprised that I was able to tell the story with a simple phone very easily. Was just one actress. I was using all the environment of downtown Mexico City, and I think was a big change of my mindset, because I was very worried about trying to express too much, and I was trying to have a lot of production. And as Sandra says, I think on the early stages, as you know, nothing big start big. You need to first make the first steps, and then you can run, and then you can um, scale all the production, and you can make, as I was telling you, I was working with very high quality Hollywood films. I had the chance to work with, for example, with Robert Redford, and it was a kind of independent film, but it was a 6 million production. But I can tell you, I had the as well the chance to work with very small films. And the important thing is, what do you have on mind and what do you want to express? And I like very much what Sandra said is, you need to tell your own stories, what you have around. Will be very challenging, or will be a kind of lucky thing if you can get very some star for your production as an actor. So I think if you can have the chance to work with your family, with your friends, as Sandra says, I think that's the best option. For example, just to and this is something that it will be very revealing when you are planning these first stages of the film production, when you are preparing your pre-production, when you are making the development. I'm gonna put the same example that what I live on The Last Breath. With The Last Breath, I was getting $330,000 on support on different film companies. I was getting the support of technical support from the actors, from the hotels, from the drivers, the governmental support, and that was amazing. But the thing is, all this when you're working in other kind of level, and at the same time, for example, I was getting the support of Sony. I was getting an F-23 camera, and after 10 years of that moment that I was doing that production, I can tell you that the phone that I'm using right now, was more powerful. For example, the F-23, the Sony F-23 Cinealta, that was the state of the art at that moment in filmmaker, digital, really nice quality. Just the body of the camera was $3,000, just the body, if you want to buy it. It was $5,000 per day if you want to rent it. I didn't have to pay that amount of money because I was the first filmmaker in the world to use that camera. But what I was telling you that it was very revealing was that 10 years after that moment, I was using a phone in 4K with a really nice quality. Of course, it's different because the lenses of the camera are different, and it's very important on the stages of film production of what do you want to be very clear? What do you want to tell? What do you want to tell the people on your film? Because as well, on my experience of the Call 2020, the main idea was to shoot stories with the style of the Zoom and the style of the Skype on these video messages that we are now very used. So I think it was a kind of very convenient, because I was not in the need to have a very um, to have a very to have any DP who was very challenging to using lights. I was using just the texture of the computer, like reality, and that's something that it was something that everybody likes. Everybody thought in some way that the stories that I was shooting was real. That was a kind of a surprise, and I was like thinking it was like the best compliment that I got. That everybody was thinking it was something that happens in real life and was totally fiction. So it's very important for you to make this very first steps where you can think about simple things, about what do you want to tell, what you can do with your phone, because that's the first tool that we have, and it's very common that this doesn't make if you have a phone, that doesn't make you a filmmaker. But if you plan the story and you use the tools that you have all around, I think that will be the possibility to make really good stories with no need of big budgets, to make a plan of your own reality, what is around you. And for example, one of the many of the stories that you already share, I think you already are telling parts of yourself, and that's really important, because I think this is the kind of things that filmmaking needs. It's just to reveal the truth, what is around us. So this will be the first steps for you to tell, and to find a way, because even on production you can find a style, and that's the importance of the planning on all these stages. And there is some other who want to share what are their first obstacles or the first challenges.
Anyone with another challenge regarding your story, how to bring your story to life?
Good evening.
Hi.
I posted a question previously, but I was asked to like bring the question to the production class. So the question is about my script, yeah, because my story is about an occurrence that is recent, and I feel like when I go to actually film the film, when I actually go for the production, I won't be able to like gain access to the place I want to film it because it's a recent occurrence, and people are still not healing from the consequence of the occurrence. So I don't know, should I actually go on with the script and go to the field to film, or I should look for another angle to tilt the script?
Okay. This is something that you have to be prepared. I'm gonna put you the example of one of the shorts of this collection, from the Call 2020. I was One of the challenges was because I didn't make any previous script, because I didn't know whom I was going to find on every one of these countries that I was looking for. When I was working on the Cold Lebanon, A film festival director recommended me a very famous actress, Stephanie Atala. So when I was talking with Stephanie, she agreed to work with me. So I start from scratch working on the script. I didn't know if I was going to find an actor, an actress, which ages. So I start to work as soon as I was confirming the talent. And as well, because I was working at a distance, I find that I was on the need that the talent could share some images of their environment and specifically on their homes. So it was first a kind of very complex, because you can imagine if I ask one of you to share your images of your home or your private things, it will be complex, because at the time was like an upcoming filmmaker from Mexico who wants to make a short at the distance, and the first thing to do from this filmmaker is to ask you to share who you are and what you have around. So this was the first challenge. So on this story, Stephanie was taking some photos of, for example, she take a photo of a pool. There was a common pool on her building, and I got an idea about. I was what I got on the Cold Lebanon was to talk about reconstruction. How on this pandemic, everybody was on the need to reconstruct themselves. So I thought about when she showed me a pool that was empty of water, there was just the pool, and I loved the idea to see Stephanie inside the pool. And while I was telling the story, the pool was filling of water and was on all the story. I was what I want to look was her being filled of water, and that was a kind of very symbolic, very easy to tell, but very deep thought about a person who are feeling themselves in life, and at the moment that she needs to restart and to be reborn, and at the same time was a kind of very symbolic thing about the people of Lebanon, because there are in the middle of there are places in a site where there are full of wars, and all the time, because they are in the middle, they have a lot of trouble. So this was a very easy way to tell something very deep. But what happened? What I'm telling you all this, and this is how I answer your question, Arafat. Um, I was that was perfect. That was the pool, the actress, the story. But suddenly, Stephanie was on the need to travel to Dubai, and the chance to film in that place. I already wrote that story, and I was in the trouble that she was in the need, because she already had the commitment with a film production, and she need to travel to Dubai. So what happened? Eventually, she said, "Well, I have some time," and I found on my room there is a bathtub, and she sent me these new pictures of her room on this hotel in Dubai, and I was on the need to tell the same story, but not using a pool, but a bathtub. It was different, but was a kind of match of what I have on mind, and this is the kind of situation that all the time happens on filmmaking. I was when I was working on The Last Breath. I was traveling from Mexico City to the south of Mexico, who is the Lacandonian jungle. I was working the pre-production 3 months before I was starting the formal production. I was working with the scouting. I was doing the scout myself with the main actor, and this is some of the things that uh, we know we don't have sometimes the budget, or we don't know the people, or we don't know who can help us with this production skill production. Sorry. So I was looking 3 months before I was starting the shooting. I was choosing my locations, but what happened when I started shooting? There was um, there was some problem with one of the main locations. There was a problem with one of the. There was a kind of pyramid, and there was a kind of governmental um, permit that I need to use. So there was a big trouble because they got on a stroke with a strike. Sorry, a strike with the location. I was not allowed to use this place that I was intend to use after planning from 3 months. So I need to move very fast. I took a couple of hours to look around to replace what I was thinking to use. And what usually happens on filmmaking is that this is more common than we want to happen. And sometimes, even it sounds funny, sometimes it comes better than you thought. So all the time you have to be prepared, and this is part of the importance of the pre-production and even on the development. That is the very first steps on a project. When you are planning, even if you have some trouble, you have to take in consideration that you have to take another plan, the plan B. You have to have plan C and D and all the letters. And this is something because as well, when I was working, for example, I was working the cold Hungary, and I was the plan was that I was going to be connected live from Mexico City through Hungary, and the situation was the DP was going to start shooting some things, and they were going to make a live transmission like are we having right now. But it happened that the DP had some trouble with their phone, so I was blind. I was just getting some text, and there was a situation that I didn't thought that I was going to live. I didn't thought about that situation. So fortunately, one of the Johanna, who was helping me with the production, she took her own phone, and she was helping on making some solution, instant solution, where she can broadcast what there are being on the location and what we have planned. So this is something that happens all the time, and you need to be prepared, even if and that's the convenience to develop stories where you don't get on the need to tell the story with not too much. I think it's the best stories are the ones who are. I'm gonna put, for example, try to look a film that is called Drive My Car. I'm sure it's gonna win the best international film the Oscars. It's a film from Japan. And if you look that story, it's very, very simple. They have a couple of actors, around 6 to 7 actors, but the main are two all the time. It's the lead man with her wife, and then the main lead with a driver. And it's a very compelling story. And sometimes when you see all these stories that you can watch on Netflix, on different platforms, I think it's very revealing that sometimes you can watch all these incredible effects, explosions, but at the end they don't say too much. It's just entertainment, and I think as well that's an important part on your development. You need to you need to be sure what you want to tell. If you want to tell something to entertain, if you want to make an art film, if you want to work a documentary, and as well, it's different to develop a fiction and to develop a documentary and to develop a short film. It's totally different because, for example, the main difference between fiction and documentaries, on documentary you can have an idea, you can have a notion of what you want to tell, but at the end it's that structure that you can write on a paper that can be very brief. It changes while you're working on the documentary. You will find more ideas. It will brought many situations that you even never imagined. So it's different, and it's really challenging to work with documentary than to fiction. I think even documentary will be more challenging because you can say, well, let's talk about story from Lagos. Let's talk about the story of the African Women International Mobile Film Festival, how it begins, how many people was involved, what was the main challenges of bringing the story of the film festival, how they contact the Mexican filmmaker. So you can get an idea of what you can tell, but at the end, we didn't know how much people was going to be connected on the workshop. How many questions did you got from the people attending the workshop? So this is a kind of thing you can visualize from what happens with that documentary. That will be totally different from a fiction. So this is part of the things that all the time happens. It's you have to be prepared even on budget. The budget will be very crucial because if you don't take in consideration the things that maybe could appear, or it happens all the time that you have problems with your camera, you have to make sure you have an insurance. Um, for instance, that even you need to get a backup from. You have for sure one choice, one perfect choice for to tell the story. One actor that you want for sure on your project, but sometimes the schedule or some situations make you change from one day to another, and you have to be prepared. So this is part of the things that you need to think about. I think the most challenging thing for a producer is to, first of all, as well, to understand what is in the mind of the director. You can find a very administrative producer and a creative and an administrative producer. So I think what is much appreciated for any filmmaker is that this producer will be more creative, more involved, not only in the technical or administrative aspects of the film production. And this will make you more able to face challenges, as the things that I was telling you, that this these obstacles that you are facing all the time, the weather, the location. If you don't have any insurance, you can have an accident. All the time happens. You need to make sure you get an insurance or something at least that could help to solve the problems. I think one of the most important things for a producer is they don't pay you, or you are not in the positions to be not in this kind of glamorous situation that you are facing, that you are the producer. No, the producer is all the time in risk. There is the position that you are always solving something. You don't get the camera on time, you don't get the lighting on time, some of the crew are late. You need to face a lot of things, and you need to solve it, because you need to work on the schedule that was planned on the development, on the pre-production. And then if you are very well prepared, it's going to be more easy. In fact, production, it's it's one of the easiest stages, because everything was planned. You talk already with all your departments about what you do, what you want, how do you want it. So this will be part of the things that will be crucial on facing the development of your film project. So I know I make a very large explanation out of that about how you can face, but this is something that you need to program. You need to face that. You need at least 2-3 plans: plan A, plan B, plan C. So even if you are sure, or you are like facing some challenges on your production, you need to make sure you can you have some option, some plan B, for what you are having on mind. That answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There is anyone who want to make a question?
Can I
Okay, yes,
contribute
sir.
to
I
it?
want to say something.
Okay. Okay. Just before you do, can I
You can go on.
okay. Octavia, I just want
Yeah.
to add to what you said. I know you've covered a lot. So Arfat, part of your duty as a producer
Uh-huh.
of your script is to also, just like Octavio said, be creative, right? So I'm sure you've seen sci-fi movies that were not shot on location, where we have gorillas, we have dinosaurs, and the rest. They were all shot in a studio. They did not
Mm-hmm.
move an inch, right? So these are creative means of telling your story. I'm not asking you to do that right now, but one thing we call locations where we shoot, why they call the film make believe, is because you need to make your audience believe you shot it in the said location where you plan on shooting. So because an incident happened in Maraba Market, for example, I don't need to go to Maraba Market to shoot my film. I can create a Maraba market around me. Look for create how do you call it now? Create specific items or props. We call them set. We call it set on for film language. Okay, it's called a set where your actors will play. The environment
Mm-hmm.
where your actors will play, it's called a set. So you create your set. What would you want your actors to play with? What are those things that you are looking at going to use when you go to the exact location where you're going to? So if you cannot access that location for your shoot, what can you do to bring the location to you where you are right now? So create something, look around you and use what you have to, achieve what you want. That's basically it. So use your creativity. Filmmaking is all about creativity, just like Octavio has said. It's all about your creativity. Look around you. Okay, so I'm limited to this plan. Now create your plan A, plan B, plan C. It's as simple as that. It's creativity. It's creativity. So just use your mind. You don't have to have everything figured out when you want to start. The desire to do it is enough. So, but look around you. You might not have the wherewithal. For example, you might want to shoot a film now in probably a cinema. You don't have the budget to pay for, the cinema and the rest, the people, the management of the cinema. You don't have that budget right now. Unlike a Funke Akindele and the rest, right? So what you need to do is look around you. What can you create? What exactly would your characters be doing there? Those are the things you need to consider. Is it important? Will it move your story forward? If it will not, you can just create a wall, you can create something, and what your facilitator earlier told you in the morning, told you that your camera is speaking. Your camera is what, you're guiding the audience to see what you want them to see. So we must not see the exact marketplace. What we want to see is what is happening there at that time. So it is what your camera focuses on that we see. Whatever story you tell us that, okay, this story is happening in so so and so. Remember, I'm sure you've seen some movies that will start and tell you happening in 19 or 1702. So 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 and so. They were not there in 1702. Probably the films were shot in 2004 or 2018, but they will write 1702 for you on the moon. They didn't go to the moon to shoot. Do you understand? So these are the things. These are just my contribution. I hope this helps you. Octavia, over to you.
Yeah, I would like to add something that while I was listening to you, I recall one of the things that everybody as filmmakers face is while you are writing, it's a kind of big challenge. Think, what do you want, and to make your own censorship. You was mentioned we sometimes want to have a big production and to have some location, and this is something that we need to face as filmmakers, to have the knowledge in some way to be what is more easy. I think it's more important sometimes to be able to tell something, that to be on these dreams that we need to face, that especially in our times we don't have the budgets, we didn't have there is a big very complex process when you can for getting grants. You need a lot of experience, and this is something as well. When you are applying, they will say, let me know what is your filmography. So if you're thinking, one of the things that I also experienced was, because I was telling you, because I was coming from the film critic, and I was like very worried because I want to show my skills, what it was, and with the phone I spent like 4 years developing The Last Breath. It took 10 years because different situations happened on the way. It's already on the way to be finished. It's not completed. But in 2017, I was discovering, as I was mentioning, the Nespresso Talents contest. They asked for a 3 minute short. I was able to shoot with a phone. So I was finding this story on my way, on my daily way to downtown Mexico City, and I was like, what I have in front of me, I was able to shoot it. I was doing myself, so I was not in the need to get any $300,000. I was not in the need. I was using, for example, that was something that it is required on this development stages. If you plan to, if you are planning your shooting, you need to know if you want handheld, if you want to put some brakes, because you will need as well permits, and you will need to get in contact with your film commission to the outside. All these parts, I will share something that I shared already with you was a couple of links where you can find, for example, screenplays from the last films who are nominated to the Oscars. I know already this is the kind of films that are not easy to shoot for us, but my intention was to share with you some examples or what is important to look for the format, how they are the ideas expressed, and this will help you. I highly recommend you to read all these scripts because as well you need to get the format from a Celtics or for a final draft, and this will help you to use another program that is Movie Magic, who is specialized in budgeting, and you can translate. You can use your final draft software, and you can put it on the Movie Magic, and then it will be more easy to work with the budgeting. So there are many ways to work. You can work with an Excel. Uh, there are some kind of, I think for me it's the boring process where you are on the need to put everything in money concepts, but as well you need to mix it with all the creative process. And this is part of the challenges of a really good producer, where it can be possible to mix all these things to go ahead in all the obstacles. And you will find in this file many things. I already as well, I was sharing a film production book from If Hontaner. You will find a very, very, very detailed aspects of what is required in any production. You will find in this PDF all the formats. It's really it's something that I can tell you this PDF will be your Bible on film production. I didn't want to. My intention on this workshop was to share some experiences, to know as well all the struggles. What are you thinking? What can be planned or not planned, or can be surprised on your project. So um, you can take more time with the details on these PDFs that I already sent, and I think it will be more convenient for you to, if you can as well share all as we already made on the workshop, what are the situations you are living, so we can talk about it and we can find a way. And just to tell you, on this PDF, I put my email. So if you have eventually any question, or you have any problem, I always open to share thoughts, to share ideas, and you can write to me, and I can help you on the process to get your project being done. There is another question.
Mercy Grace, you wanted to ask a question before.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question before. Actually, my own challenge is very similar to Arafat's challenge, because I'm serving presently, and I'm serving in a barrack in a Navy secondary school. So, and I am in a community whereby I did not understand their language, did not understand my language, and even from barracks, we don't go out. You get so. But then I think from what you have explained and from what our facilitators have explained, I have started thinking about how to improvise and go about my setting to achieve what I want to achieve. But one thing that okay, another thing that I would love to ask, though is not really related to this workshop directly. It's just something that I've been looking forward to for like for weeks now. I've been looking for a film festival that I can submit a short film to. I shot a short film last year, and then I've been looking for a film festival to submit it to. I don't know if anybody can help me with that.
Okay, now you're mentioning film festivals. There are a lot of film festivals all around, from the top ones through. You can find. I strongly, there is a platform. There is Film Freeway, and you can find, for example, mostly, or the most important, they ask for a fee, but you can find as well film festivals who don't request any fee, that you can apply for free. And there is a lot of film festivals who have grants, and they're looking for stories of women. And this is part of the things, because as well there is always this very complicated part where you want to produce, you want to tell your story, but you need as well the money and the support. So it's like, who was first, the egg or the chicken? This is, and it doesn't matter how many years of experience you have. This is all the time, all the challenges. And I think that that was the part that I find very very important of what Sandra was explaining to you, that it's important for you to take what you have, what is at the beginning maybe easy to tell, to use. Don't get complicated about getting. If of course, it's what they call the production values. If you find a very nice location, if you got a very nice actor, but if you take the time, and I think it's important not only for the director but also the producer to um, to look around, to be open what you have all around, and then you can put all that elements on your story, on your script, to remember that the stories on your script are, you need to express images. The difference between literature from scripts, it's on literature you can express, there is a lot of color, the description, of the emotions, and on the scripts of films, you need to be very specific about actions. The woman, there is no poetry at the beginning. And as well, I was finding on the scripts that you sent to me, there is a lot of technical specifications. There is the script where you can mention the actions, and as well there is a more technical script. But this is really important, because when you're applying to the film festivals, they will check, for example, there is the Toronto International Film Festival, the script writing lab. You can apply. It doesn't matter if you are a very skilled filmmaker. It's a free option, but it's really what it will be crucial for the selection is that the script will be perfect in format and on ideas. What they already, what happened all the time, they ask you if, for example, if you have a feature, if you have a script for a feature film, they will ask to send the first 5 pages, only the 5 pages. So they will analyze what you have, and if there is a very clear idea of what you have, then you will be able to. But the thing is that there is a lot of competition. Everybody's looking for money. Everybody's looking for support. So you need to make sure that your story is really appealing. It's well done on the script. That the format will be structured as a professional. So that's my recommendation, and that's the reason that I was once again putting these links on what I sent, because reading all the scripts, you will get a natural idea of what is to format a script, how they express the ideas, and I think it's important to work a lot. It's you're always on the need to make the rewrites of your script and to make very clear what it's required, and that's the part as well on the producer. So I think this is part of the. It's not one answer for what you already asked. There is a lot of things that are involved applying and asking, but you will find especially on Film Freeway, because that's a platform that I use very often, and you will find this possibility of grants and these festivals to specialize on phones. And sometimes it's more important to make it happen than trying to, because everybody's like, oh, we want to make Dune, or we want to make a film very extravagant and high production. Yeah, everybody dream about it, but as well, I think it's very compelling and very challenging to tell stories with a very few things, and sometimes requires more creativity than money. And right now, you can it's really impressive, because the phones now and the apps are incredible. You can find, for example, I highly recommend an app that is called Filmic Pro, and with this app that has been used in many important films. I can mention the film Tangerines, who won Sundance, was totally made with a phone, and you can use these tools, and it costs I don't know, like $20, more or less $15. So you can use these tools that will help you to reduce the cost of the film production. That will you get a style on the photography, and if you start working these concepts and with the people who can help you tell the story, it will be more easy than if you are planning to use a big camera, who you are on the need to get a crew of 10, 15, 20 people. So this is part of the new challenges, as well the new opportunities that mainly the digital filmmaking are facing. So this is part of the things that I highly recommend you. So there is on this platform you will find a lot of film festivals, a lot of options of possible grants, and I highly recommend you to take a look on this platform.
AWMIFF
There
is
is an
also a film festival
Sir,
for women, and that's why you're here. We're looking to promote female-centric stories. So you're already on the right track. The fact that you're
yes.
here, you're doing great. You just need to keep improving on your filmmaking, and of course, the recognition will come.
and
thank you
and
very
that's
much.
as
Please,
well.
I want to ask Sama a question. Can I go on? Okay. You spoke about marketing under the stages of preparation for production, and of a truth, sometimes producers they don't really take marketing into their consideration while producing their movie. So at the end, they end up losing so much. And now I feel marketing at different environment. Let's say I'm in Nigeria presently. For people in Ghana, for people in like you're in Mexico, and from people in other countries, our own marketing strategy might actually differ from each other. Now, how do you think we can scale through our marketing strategies considering differences in our communities? Like for instance, now I am in Nigeria. Now, how do you think I can take into consideration my marketing strategy in the film industry?
Okay, really good question. This is as well part of the film production stages, all the distribution, the marketing. As I was telling you at the very beginning, not all the usually producers don't think about promotion, and you can get the best film of all the history of you can make Citizen Kane, but if you are not able to know the people about your film, you will fail. All and that's part of the complexity of filmmaking, because it's really hard to start the project, to sell the project, to find the financiers, to start work, to convince the actors, to work with the actors, to go through the production, to all the obstacles of the film production. Um, when you thought you have faced all the big obstacles of filmmaking, you can realize that it's not the most complex part. The most complex part was you are already invested in all these stages, previous stages of filmmaking, and everything is now on the side of distribution and exhibition. And you can think about, for example, this is something that I always explain to people. When you go to the doctor, you are not going to tell the doctor who is best for you if you have some disease, or if you are on the need of some surgery. You are not going to tell the doctor. So that's how I see, in a way, this part of distribution and exhibition. But what happened when you get approached to a distribution to some distributor? They will ask for many things. They will ask about your skills as a filmmaker. They will ask for a big percentage, and this is some of the things that there is a big amount of films outside, really good films, really films that has a lot of quality, that don't has any distribution, of course, not an exhibition. But what happened that really changed the game for filmmaking? Social networks. I think the answer to what you are asking is, now everybody is able to have Facebook, to have Instagram, to have Twitch, to have YouTube. You need to be very careful with YouTube, because most of the film festivals, if you upload your short on the previous stages on the film festivals, you are going to be disqualified. So you need to take care. But for example, what is important? To have a nice poster that you can attach on your Instagram. You can it's really important on the Instagram, the hashtags you have. So this will be this new opportunities, as well, new challenges, will make you more able to find, as you said, I like the word community, because we need to work as a community, as facing that not all the films, or not all the projects we are going to work will have this chance of massive distribution, because that will be a lie to tell that not even the more skill, and you can know, for example, you can find, for example, Nightmare Alley from Guillermo del Toro, who is Mexican, who is now nominated for Best Picture on the Oscars. There was a film that flopped on the box office. It flopped. It was a huge. They have a lot of stars, and not necessarily the big stars have this word of mouth that it's really important on the film industry. You need to be very creative as well on the Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. So these are things that you have to plan as well in the first stages on the project, because if you are like facing, you are developing your project and telling the people and knowing the people you have the project, you will find a community that will be attracted to your stories, and you are going to grow all these possibilities. And with the chance of, if you can put some money on Instagram, on Facebook, and you will put some money to just to increase, and just to make sure there will be more people watching what you post, that's fine. But we have to start thinking about this social networks was a very big opportunity for all filmmakers to make more democratic and more easy to make people know about our stories. So I think that's the only thing that you need to know. It's, well, on Instagram there are some days and some specific hours to post. It's not just posting, because that doesn't work. You need to make sure you have the correct hashtags, the correct hour, the correct. It's not because on your Instagram you are posting 1,000 images of your project, and that will be more. The more, the best. That's a lie. You need to post one image every 3 days. There are very specific strategies, and this is the famous Instagram algorithmic that is always changing. At least at the beginning, it was like very. I knew that the best time on the week to post and to get more impact on Instagram was on Wednesday around 4 p.m. And now what they said, it's the algorithm was changing, and now it's more convenient to post at 6 a.m. on Wednesday than in the afternoon. So this is part of the things that you are getting a promotion of your film and exposure that will be important, because you can be the best filmmaker on the planet, but if nobody knows about your project, about your film, about you, it doesn't matter. So now the new challenges on the stages of film production is to make, and even if you want to, I was recently I was making a pitch of one project that I want to make. And for example, they ask about the followers. They say, well, how much followers? And it's terrible, because even some film festivals, not all, but they ask you, they make the contest about how many people are watching your film. And this is part of the new world, and part of the new challenges we're facing. So that's what I can tell you with a very taking on mind, that this part, because it's difficult to have money to produce, maybe it's more difficult to have money to promote, and because nobody is facing this kind of requirements. And I think the new necessities for filmmaking, it's not only to have a very quality, a lot of quality on your script, to face the best options that you could have on your production, but as well the best skills, and to and even just to know that you need to have something for production, for promotion, because everybody's like, okay, I made my film, I made my film, um, who's gonna distribute my film? And you take apart that film stage, because it's more than it's something that somebody needs to take care. Well, the new reality is that as filmmakers, we need to take care of all the stages. We need to care about the pre-production, the production, the post-production, who are the best guys now, as well with the new apps. You can, or for example, with the post-production, you can, I don't know, I know Sandra is gonna make the workshop of editing, and she will tell you more about this. But for example, DaVinci Resolve, there is a free software. You can get the free trial, that it's amazing. That's the one that I use, and it's one of the best softwares on editing that you can get, and it's free. You can get, of course, there are some things that you can if you want the upgrade, and you will need to pay like $200. That is not too much, because it's a really nice software. But everybody from this workshop can Google DaVinci Resolve and get the free software, and it's amazing. It's better than, for example, I was long time ago, I was using the iMovie, and it's nice if you don't know too much about editing. That will help. But this is something that, as well, on the planning on the film, you can get many things with a very low cost or free, and you can make a really, really, really nice project with not too much money, just with a good planning, and with the most important thing, with your creativity and with your strategies, where you can make the best story you can with a less. So this is part of the new things that we are facing on production. That if you are if you have a good story, the rest now it's possible, because one of the things from the past, if you for example, on 2009, when the big gap between the film, the celluloid, to digital, everybody was like, oh no, if you want to be a real filmmaker, you need to film on 35 millimeter. That was at the time the requirement. Now everybody, even the most important filmmakers, they use phones, and they are getting notice that the quality of the phones are upgrading year by year. You can use the apps. You can use apps for making some effects. So that will be the opportunity to make low cost on the post production stage. So that's part of the things that I think it's. I'm really encouraging you to take these steps of very simple tools that you can find for free on your phone. With if you want to, I think depends as well. You can make a look from the stories that you want to tell using very specific phones or even Zoom. So now the game is open to everybody, to everyone, no matter where you are. So this is part of the benefits of the digital area, where you can find you can make a film with a very low cost, and depends more on creativity than what you can get from the technical aspects. That was right, Mercy?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very
There
much.
is another no, there is another question.
Any other question for our facilitator on film production? He's covered a lot, a lot. In fact, after now, you need to go back and rewatch this replay, because inside all of our explanation, there are juices, there are values hidden inside. You need to rewatch this particular session, because he's really dished out a lot of values. So if you have any question before we wrap up, we just have a few minutes to go. Please ask your questions now.
I have, for example, let me, okay, for example, what you have already sent to me, the Black Christmas. For Black Christmas, what I thought it was the all the I love all the ideas, but I think, um, for example, once again on my project of the last breath, um, I end to realize that I was having all the very complex things of a film production. I was having my location. My main location was in the jungle. I was transporting 65 people into the jungle of the south of Mexico, into the Lacandonian jungle. I was having a session of photography inside a pool. It was underwater photography. I was having child actors. I was having animals. So I get all the complex. Sorry.
Everything that could go wrong.
Yeah, everything. So this is something that while I was looking, for example, Black Christmas, I said, okay, it's you can what is the importance of setting a story in Christmas, because you will need a lot of production, a lot of production values, and maybe you can tell the same story with a different setting. So this is something, this enthusiasm that we have when we want to tell stories. We need this is where censorship, auto censorship, it's very important, because you need to put on the place where you need to think, what do you want to have on your production, how much money do you need, how much it require, not only on an economic value, but on many things that are not money, creativity. So as well, when we are mentioning that simple things, simple stories are better, as well are the most complex, because if you think about any story I think it's more easy just to blow with special effects, as Sandra was saying, no, dinosaurs, spaceships, but at the end, what did they tell? Most commonly, these films are empty about many things, are just eye candy, just explosions. So I think, for example, I reading the Black Christmas, that was my only uh, observation, that maybe it should be, of course, the title of the story is Black Christmas. It's important to have Christmas there. Or I have I was of Truth by the Net. There is the other stories, The Color Black. Is Sarahatu there?
No, Sarah has
No.
dropped.
Okay. Incompleted. Hama Olubode. Is there
Okay,
Hama? No?
what's the title of this one?
Incompleted.
Okay, incompleted. I don't know. I don't know who wrote that one.
Or maybe
Arafat, what's the title of your story?
Truth by the Net, or Truth Through the Net.
uh-huh. That's Mofa.
That's Arafat's story.
It hurts, but I love that is the Mofa Meko and Milola from Hannah Olubode. So that there was two stories. So I think, for example, one of the I think there was The Color Black. All the setting was inside a bus, and well, that's the kind of things that add some production value, that are, I think is I don't think it will be too much complex to get a bus to tell the story. And this is the kind of things, it's few locations, good acting. If you are not able to find actors who are very skilled, you can work, you can also make your own workshop to make the readings, and this is part as well on the stage of pre-production. You are constructing your story, you are preparing your story, and on that part you can make a lot of progress, because somebody who can be on your family, who can be your director, or some friend who you know very well. So I think the most important of the actors, of the acting part, is just to get confidence and to express very well what you have on mind and the things that you want to tell on your story. So this is part of the things that I found on the scripts that, and I suggest strongly once again to read all these links um, of these scripts that are from the Oscars, because you will get the structure and the way it has to be. And if you get inside, for example, from on the Celtics software that will be free, they just I think they just ask for to be registered on the platform, and you will get the chance to get storyboards and to get the format of a professional script, and that will help, because the stories are nice, but I think the way you format the stories are not as the professional specifications, and that will help you on with the things that I already shared with the if Hontaner PDF. You will find all the specifications of who conforms a very professional crew. Sometimes, as I already mentioned, you don't have, and I don't recommend you to, because just you need to think when, okay, you have a lot of people helping you on your production. That's incredible. But you will need to think as a producer, and you will need to think that all these people will need to eat, will need to be transported. You need to be a place where they can go to a bathroom. And this is something that when you are thinking, oh yeah, I have a bunch of I have a bunch of people that could help me on my short or my first feature, and sometimes not even if you got the chance to get the help from a lot of friends or a lot of people, that's the best option for your production, because you need to think about money, and maybe just to have a compact team where you can move easily, where you can get a place. It's important when you're working. There are two things that I strongly recommend you when you're working on your films. If it's for a first time, take care about food, and take care someplace about to have, for example, your actor where he can stay, where he can work on some rehearsal, some reading, to have some privacy. And there is no need just to get a camper. It's just to have a place, just for just to make feel your talent. You are taking care of them, and this is some of the things that, even if you are not having a lot of money, will make you make a very clear idea that you know about the business and you care about them. That it's the main point. You are taking care about all the crew. Take a very, very, very important selection of who you choose on your crew. Um, of course, the people who are skilled, who are experienced, but sometimes maybe people who has a goodwill. It's more important, because filmmaking, it's really hard. you will find a lot of challenges on the way, and what you need to conform, it's a family, a film family, a cinema family. um, you can have the most experienced DP, or maybe yes, the first ID, who is really important. Maybe it's has not a good attitude, and this will penetrate on all your team. So it's more important to be confident with your team, to be friend with your team, and to know that sometimes less is more. And that will be my most important recommendation on this, because this will make you to get able to go further on your, even if you are on a compact, or you will take sometimes, because we didn't have too much time, we need to compress our film production. We would like to have a month, 6 months, 6 weeks of production, but maybe sometimes we don't have, because we got the permit on a location that is only available by night. So we need to compress all the things. So this is part of the challenges that we are facing on the film production. And well, I know timing is running low. So there is any other question?
I guess no other question.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Octavio. Thank you for
No,
this.
it's I really I need to appreciate the invitation. I'm really honored to share some thoughts. It's film production. It's really complex because it's a lot of things involved. I thought it was more. I can share as many slides as I can express, but I think it was more important for me to share experience, to know the questions. And once again, if you have any question and if you need some advice on your scripts, I'm all the time available. You will find on at the end of the film production links PDF my email. So feel free to contact me, and I will be pleased to help in any way as much as I can. So I have an experience. It's everybody has different approaches about filmmaking, but you need to know that you have a friend in Mexico, and I will be able to help in any way as possible if you need it. And thanks, Sandra, and thanks for the festival for the invitation. A real honor.
You're most welcome. So, do we have any assignments from you? What should the participants be doing now in preparation for tomorrow's class?
Yes,
They,
yes. I think what I will suggest to do is looking at the. I will send another PDF with the with a kind of very brief explanation about all these 5 steps of the film stages, and I will need for every one of the attendees to make a kind of breakdown about what are on the pre-production. Apply the pre-production on your project, and make a kind of plan, a general plan of what is your film about, and what it's on these 5 stages. How do you visualize these film stages on your project? So that will be very useful for you, because that will be the way you can realize how much or what is needed, and what do you have already, and what it will be required. So it will be in fact important even on the workshop of script writing, because you will need on this stage to have completed or have an idea of what is needed on the stage of script writing. So I would like to ask all the attendees on the workshop to have a look on this PDF of film stages, and just to make a breakdown of what you think it's required on this site.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the
No, my
value you
pleasure.
brought. Thank you so much. Everyone, please join me in saying thank you to our facilitator as we end today.
Appreciate your time and everything. It was really
No, my
impactful.
pleasure.
All right. Okay, so that's how we end today, everybody. Have a great evening and have a great day today, Octavia.
No,
Bye.
bye bye.